Let's wrap up the day with a captivating discussion on plant-powered lighting and sensor for urban sustainability. Give it up for Marjolein Helder, CEO at Planty. Please join me here on the stage.
Thank you.
The stage is yours now.
Thank you. So, good afternoon. I won't hold you too long from your drinks today. I'm Marjolein Helder, I'm founder and CEO of Planty, and I'm going to talk to you about climate positive energy. So I founded the company Planty as a spin-off from my PhD research in 2012. In 2012 my research was finished, and then I started the company called Planty, and at Planty we generate electricity with living plants. And luckily, I don't have to do that all on my own because I've got a full team with me. But I started in 2009, first with research and then combining it with setting up a company and then forming a team around 2014 when I graduated from my PhD. And nowadays, we're already with 15 people in a team. And we have started with developing lights based on electricity from plants. And we are now at the point where we are focusing on both lights and sensors. And this is the team that we do it with. So we have this joint vision that we want to deliver real sustainable energy to the world. And this is the way we do that. So let me shortly run you through the process. So plants produce organic matter through photosynthesis. It's a natural process. Part of the organic matter is excreted into the soil. And in the soil, bacteria break down the organic matter, and they release electrons in that process. Now, we capture the electrons, so the naturally free electrons from the bacteria, we capture them in a carbon electrode, like this. It's a flexible tube, and it contains 2 electrodes. So there's one on the outside. So the bacteria grow on this electrode, and then donate their electrons to this electrode. And then the electrons are transferred through the wire to the counter electrode, which is on the inside of this tube. And then on the inside, the electrons are released to oxygen and water is formed. So completely sustainable and circular process, because we don't take anything out of the soil, but we make effective use of the naturally free electrons in the soil. And this electricity that we directly produce can be used for lighting or sensors. Because basically, this is a technology platform that we can, with a piece of electronics, can attach a multitude of applications to. And this is the vision that we came up with. So for cities, for social safety, for indication lighting, this would be a fantastic source. So you put the planters up in the streets, and you've got both green, extra green in the city to make it livable, and at the same time you produce electricity for the lights to make it safe at night. And then when it comes to sensors, you can use these both within the city or in remote situations. We can even put this into full soil, as long as it's in the waterlogged zone of the soil, because that's important. So now if we look at the lighting and the possibilities for lighting, you could think of lights along a path in a park, or as I said, indication lighting to make sure that you don't lose your path. You can put it in a pond for a recreational spot or an information sign. But it's not just a vision. We have done this already quite a few times. So there's already 3,000 products sold. We are applying this mostly for social safety. And we have basically developed this technology with the market. So this is our latest prototype. So if you stick this into the ground, so this tube that I just showed you is actually in this one. This is just for protection and to make it easy to install. So if you put this in the ground, then these glass fiber lights on top will just light up. It's not that easy. There's a little bit more in there. But The installation procedure is like that. And now, let me show you this video of one of our example projects that we did in the city of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. This is what we call the Park of Tomorrow. Now this is all real footage. This is what we have already done. Now don't you think that every city deserves a Park of Tomorrow? At least one, maybe more. Because this is what nature can actually provide us with. This is standalone, no additional power source connected. And the park is already there. And there are so many parks that are just not comfortable to be in at night, that don't feel safe because they're just a little bit too dark. Now we can put up these big lampposts that actually interfere with biodiversity, with birds, with bats. And you would like to avoid that, but you do want to give that little bit of social safety. Now we have talked to the neighborhood around the Park of Tomorrow in Rotterdam, and they told us we're actually happy that it's just small indication lighting, because now we can see what's behind the lights as well. This feels safe, it feels comfortable. We're happy to be in this park. We're not anymore going around at night. So this is something that we will continuously put out there into the market with ever new prototypes and products, and we're hoping that so many cities will pick it up. But at the same time, we saw another problem arising in the market, which is the growth of IoT. Now, IoT is a fantastic thing, like sensors to monitor how it's going with the city, how your air quality, water quality, etc. is, which is good. But 90% of sensors is powered by batteries, and that is a problem. Because batteries are not sustainable, they need to be replaced regularly. And if we don't do anything about it, in the next decade, we will generate 65 million tons of chemical battery waste just through IoT devices. I'm worried, but I have at least part of the solution, because most sensors don't need so much power, but they do need continuous power. And this thing and nature generate electricity 24 hours a day. It's not a lot, but it's enough. So here we go. Let's go to plant-powered remote sensing. We could do it in urban situations, soil moisture, temperature, air quality, rain gauges. We could do it more remote as well. In agriculture, for example, on rice paddies, in wetland water control, or even remote rainforest monitoring. And again, it's not just a story. We're here. We have done this. This is a project. This was our first large-scale pilot test in the Netherlands, at Waterboard de Dommel. And there we tested powering groundwater level sensors to provide data on the groundwater level. So the goal was to monitor, to measure every hour and send the data every 24 hours. And that's what we did. It has been up and running for almost 2 years now, and we haven't missed one single measurement. So it's not only very sustainable, it's very reliable as well. And that is important. You need reliable data, and you need a power source that delivers that data whenever you want it. So we know exactly when we can deliver the data, and how often we can do that, and when it's working well. So this is one of the things that we can do. But there's other options. This is a project that we did with a tree nursery, because they told us we have a problem with watering our trees, or actually our customers have a problem with watering their trees because they never know when it needs water. So they're either too dry or too wet and they die. That's a big problem for greening the city, because if the green dies, then it's not green anymore. So water management of planters and tree boxes in the city is a challenge. And if we can, this tree, let produce its own power to provide the data about how it's going. And I'm sorry, this dashboard, because it was a demo dashboard, is in Dutch. But basically, it gives insight in the soil temperature and how many measurements we did today, what the soil moisture is, and whether you need to actually water it or not. It isn't that difficult, is it? But this helps. And it doesn't contain a single battery, because it's just a tree telling you when it needs water. And then this is a bit of an odd one out, but it's a really cool one. This is something that we did in Slough in the UK, where we are actually measuring the amount of green in the surroundings through a phenology sensor. And the dashboard that you see on the left indicates the different types of lights that are emitted in the surrounding. And through the increase of the green area in the graph, you can calculate how much carbon is captured. Now, everyone is talking about carbon capture, about reducing CO2, decarbonization in the city, but no one knows how much we're actually capturing. We can measure it. Oh, actually, nature can measure it for you. Let's do that. The cool thing about this technology is that it can work anywhere plants can grow and water is available. So as I said, this needs to be in the waterlogged zone of the soil. So either we put it in the waterlogged zone when it's there, when the water level is relatively high, or we make a planter and we create a waterlogged zone in the bottom. Works either way. And because carbon is captured by the plant while we're producing electricity, this is the only known carbon negative energy technology in the world. This is climate positive energy. And it's patented, which is good for us, good for business, but it makes sure we can make sure that this is just the true and honest technology gets onto the market, which is important to us. We're happy to help anyone get onto the market as long as they play the game according to the rules. So we put the technology submerged into the water, we put the electronics above ground, we can facilitate the installation, and we can provide all the services one might need to run a full project. And then these are the phases. You might think it's complicated to produce electricity from living plants and use that effectively because it's still unknown. But it's nothing else than a regular project. We do a site assessment, we transport the stuff, we do the installation, and then we start it up and it operates. And there you go. End-to-end services, and everyone can generate electricity with plants.